Hi, I'm Kate with DNAngels, and I'm here today with Leah Larkin from Banyan DNA to talk about their wonderful new tools. Leah, we are so honored to sit down with you one-on-one to talk about Banyan DNA. As you know, DNAngels uses the WATO tool to test our hypotheses at the end of every case. And I was wondering if you could talk to us about how some of the features of Banyan DNA might help us with our cases.
Absolutely. So WATO and Banyan DNA are really complementary tools. They both kind of achieve the same ends, but they go about it in slightly different ways. So one of the advantages of using Banyan DNA is if you have a tree where there are multiple relationships, so either because there's pedigree collapse, for example, someone's parents were second cousins to one another, or you have two brothers who married two sisters and their descendant lines, and so you possibly have extra opportunities for the DNA to sneak in and complicate how we interpret the relationships. So Banyan DNA is the only tool out there right now that can handle situations like that. But it allows you to test hypotheses the same way that WATO does, but when you have these more complex scenarios. You can also use it to what we call validate your tree. So if you have DNA kits for, say, 2 or 3 people in your family and you match a whole bunch of other people, it can alert you to possible places in your tree where maybe there was a half relationship that you previously thought was full by analyzing everybody all at once. So it has a number of features that other tools don't do. On the flip side, there are certainly situations where you're going to be fine with WATO and maybe even better off because it will suggest hypotheses, whereas Banyan can't do that yet.
Okay, so if I was a user who maybe had some cousin marriages in my tree, and I used WATO, and the hypothesis says no, that's not possible.
Right.
Then I might want to come use Banyan.
You might want to come to use Banyan DNA.
Okay.
As long as you can map those cousin marriages into your tree, into your project, Banyan DNA can handle it because it customizes the statistics to the tree that you give it. Whereas other tools are basically, they have a static lookup table, so all second cousins always will have the same statistics. For us, we can customize it so if you're second cousin and a third cousin, it can account for that.
And would that be more for like if my ancestors were from the same small town or?
Oh goodness, yes. That often happens in small towns, especially if they're isolated. So farming communities, you often see that if there's people who live on island populations or in valleys where to travel outside of the valley was really challenging and difficult. We see it a lot. I mean, this history of intermarriage within a group is kind of the historical norm. Basically, you go back far enough in your tree and everybody's going to find it.
How about like a cultural community, like
absolutely
Jewish or Amish or LDS? Yeah. Okay, so that could be really useful for
any of those populations. Yeah.
Can you tell me about the pricing structure?
Sure, absolutely. So users are able to test out the tool for free. We have a free tier that allows you to build a project of up to 50 individuals, 50 people in the tree. And then you can add the DNA matches, you can run calculations on it to test your hypotheses or just to validate your tree. If you want more than 50 people, if you want more than one project, you can upgrade to what we call the premium account, and we throw in some extra bonus features on top of that for our premium users. That is normally $75 per year, but during Roots Tech, basically for the next 2 weeks, we'll have a special Roots Tech promo code. It's Roots24, ROOTS 24.
Roots 24.
Roots 24. If you plug that code in when you're checking out during the upgrade, you'll get $25 off. So that's
excellent.
$50 for that first year.
Okay. Let's say that I'm a brand new user to DNA. What do I need to educate myself on before I come to use Banyan? So I've spit in the tube, I've sent in my ancestry DNA test. What should I do while I'm waiting before I subscribe to Banyan? Because it sounds like it's a pretty intricate tool.
It's definitely not, it's not the first thing you're going to want to go to when you get your DNA results. Honestly, the first thing we're all going to go to is check our ethnicity results,
right?
And like perhaps go out and revamp our wardrobes. But the next thing you want to do is start building your tree. You can do that before you get your results in. You know, unless you were adopted or have an unknown parent, you know who your parents are. You probably know who your grandparents are. Start building that tree out as far as you can. When you get your DNA results, you'll be matched to people, and some of them will also have trees that you can view, and then you look at their tree and you look at your tree and say, oh, we share the same great-grandparents, that's awesome, and then you add them to your tree.
So we use them to prove our tree.
Right.
Right.
Well, I always add them to my tree just because I like having everybody there. It's like, you're my people. But then if you take that into Banyan, it can check to make sure the DNA amounts line up with the relationships. So if you have somebody you thought was a second cousin and they're sharing 20 centimorgans with you, they're probably not really your second cousin.
Right.
And if you have somebody you thought was a second cousin and they're sharing 800 centimorgans with you, there's something closer than second cousin going on there. And so our tool can help point you to those areas in your tree where maybe the DNA is not aligning well enough with the relationships that you'd previously found.
Leah, I really want to thank you for sitting down with us and
Absolutely.
for collaborating on this wonderful product. It's amazing. Thank you so much.
We have a fabulous team. The developers that created this tool for us are like, they're just incredible. They're just a delight to work with, and they have great ideas. And it's just been an incredibly fun project from start to finish.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.